Hey everyone. So next week, December 14th, HHFDC is going to be reviewing or approving, I guess, an action for this Pahoa Ridge project. So I just wanted to do a brief video, kind of talk about what that, I guess, proposal is. And so yeah, this is a 201H project proposal, so affordable housing, um, our affordable housing law 201H. It's a project that they're proposing. Um, Heart of historic neighborhoods. So it Manoa Kamiki Mulili Junction. So let's see. 211 units. Yeah, okay, different sizes. Okay. Location is this is back of UH. This is Old Wildlife Road. This is the on ramp to the freeway. Um, and it's this little lot right here. Um, okay, so at this big high level bullet, it says that they're going to have rentals for families between 30 and 100% AMI. So um, yeah, from this bullet, it sounds like uh, nah, broad. Like it's serving a lot of families that are affording that would need affordable housing. Um, as we kind of get further down into this, let me just jump down into the okay, so what we'll see in a little more detail is this idea of what they're calling here multi-track options, but in the actual proposal they're called scenarios. And basically what's happening is they're gonna attempt to propose maybe building rentals for 30 to 60% AMI, depending on how much additional funding they can receive. So this is through tax credits and other incentives for financing, depending on how much they can get. So if they can get a lot of that, they'll do this proposal, which creates rentals for 30 to 60% AMI families. If they can't, then they're gonna go. Maybe they'll get less incentive financing. Then they'll go to this, which will now only service rentals to families between 80 and 100% AMI. And um, if they can't get that financing, then they are going to a for sale um, offering. So um, so even though that first bullet, if you start at the top of the web page, says that they're going to have that this is a rental project for 30 to 100% AMI, um, the reality is it's either going to be a rental project for 30 to 60% AMI if they can get a lot of HHFDC financing awards, or if they can get less HHFDC financing awards, it will only now service families between 80 and 100% AMI. And if they are unable to secure the HHFDC financing awards, then they're going to have a for sale offering. Um, and that's going to be, well, there's more detail, but it'll be for 140% AMI units. Okay, so that's kind of a basic introduction there. Let me jump to this. So this is what HHFDC is going to be reviewing at their board meeting on the 14th. It's what they call a for action. This is where HHFDC can or approves potentially this project, saying that it qualifies under 201H and that it is, it can move forward. If it moves forward, it goes to the city council under resolution because it needs these exemptions for the building size and the building density. And if it gets those exemptions through city council, then it moves on and it becomes a project. So let's see. So um, similar summary here. They're talking about, so here scenario one, right? We saw the rentals, and this is 30 to 60% AMI groupings. If they can't do that, they'll go to scenario two, where now these units are are for 80 and 100% AMI. And then if they can't get that, all that HHFDC financing later, then they're gonna go to the scenario 3. It's a four-star offering and between 80 and 140% AMI. But as you can see, it's pretty heavily weighted to 120 and 140% AMI. So I don't know if you've been following along in some of these projects. This for sale breakdown is very similar in breakdown to Kuile Place. You'll have 60% of the units are considered affordable. That range goes from 80 to 140, but it tends to heavily skew to the 120, 140. Okay, so they're proposing a 30-story building here, and kind of we'll see in the discussion later, kind of how that breaks down. Okay, so a few things. Again, these three scenarios. One of the issues that I guess I have, I don't know, with this idea is these, to me, these three scenarios provide like vastly different value to the general, the public. I mean, if you're providing housing for households 60% or below AMI, I mean that to me that's providing a lot of affordable housing value, because there are many families that are in this income bracket, and there's not a lot of other options, for maybe families that are 60% or below. I mean, they're in desperate need of affordable housing. Not a lot of other options, maybe for them. So this project at scenario 1, right? Hey, that's. And then scenario 2, okay, it's moving up. So 100% AMI in Honolulu is it's 110,000 around. So we're talking about households that are making close to 100K, maybe 80 to 100K a year. And yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, they need houses too. Sure, like they gotta live. But I mean, if you have 80 to 100,000 a year, I mean, you might be able to find other housing arrangements, like more so than maybe people who are make less than 60% AMI. So I mean, the value of this project, like to the broader community, it's better at scenario 1 than scenario 2. And then I mean, when you get to scenario 3, I mean, we're talking about 140% AMI, so people are making 150, 160K a year. 60% of those, for sale, and then 40% are market. So it's just, like, market. And it's not really any affordable housing value there, really. So I kind of, this proposal is a single thing. So HHFDC will kind of approve it like all or nothing, right? The State Council has to kind of approve this thing sort of all or nothing. Like currently, all scenarios are in play. So these approvals for all these exemptions, I mean, it would apply whichever scenario is picked. And I mean, in my mind, the exemptions maybe would be worth it. Let's say for scenario 1 and possibly maybe scenario 2, and maybe I don't know. Like maybe you might feel there's not enough affordable housing value to approve the exemptions at scenario 3. So I mean, I kind of don't think it should be bundled this way, because I feel like the exemptions and all of the other things that they're requesting should sort of align more with the scenarios. So it's like maybe you'd have one package, you would request exemptions for scenario 1. If that doesn't go through or whatever, maybe you would have another plan with maybe less exemptions or something for scenario 2, and maybe maybe whatever. So this whole bundling of the scenarios, I kind of this talks about sort of the budget, which kind of shows the scale of this project. And so the acquisition, this is like the cost of the current lot, the land. So the current property, because of the existing zoning, arguably, it's valued at like $4 million. So okay, so $4 million. Okay? And then But using these this proposal, including these exemptions for height, density, all of these things, they're allowed to build this like $200 million building. Um, that then if we look at some of these, so overhead, so this is like profit for the construction, dev fee, profit for developers. So we're talking about maybe 20 million um, that can be made like profit from the developers and the construction of this building. So you're taking a $4 million lot and you're using this this making a bigger building, right? You're applying for these exemptions, and then now you have this $125 million project, and so that way when you take your 10% or whatever, 10% and 10% of that, if you're talking about some the developers maybe making 20 million. So the pitch is that, hey, we're building this out of the goodness of our hearts. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, you could have a heart of gold here, but you also got a lot of gold you take into the bank here, because you get 20 million potentially profit on a $4 million um, current lot.